Voting is underway in the U.S. Senate on the funding bill. The U.S. House of Representatives voted on Friday night to pass new legislation that would keep the government funded temporarily. The House voted 366 to 34 to approve the short-term funding bill a day after rejecting Trump's debt ceiling demand. This was the third attempt this week to get a deal through the U.S. House of Representatives after a Trump-backed funding measure failed on Thursday.
We are really grateful that tonight, in bipartisan fashion, with overwhelming majority of votes, we passed the American Relief Act of 2025. This is a very important piece of legislation. It funds the government, of course, until March of 2025. That was a big priority for us. We encourage swift passage in the Senate now. They need to do their job, as the House just did. We will all go home.
The bill will now need to pass by the Senate before it can be signed by President Joe Biden, where the voting is underway. The legislation would extend government funding until the 14th of March, provide $100 billion for disaster-hit states and $10 billion for farmers. The proposal does not include a debt ceiling measure President-elect Donald Trump had called for. And my colleague Shubhendu Ghosh now joins us live from our New Delhi newsroom. Shubhendu, has this episode brought to the fore dissensions within Republicans in the Republican-controlled House and some resistance too to how Elon Musk had weighed on the issue, backed by Trump?
Most certainly, Munmun, dramatic scenes from the U.S. Capitol that we witnessed earlier. Of course, there are two versions of the bill that were met with roadblock. First, we saw Elon Musk tweeting on the first version of the bill, and that was later supported by Trump. That opposition was supported by Trump, and the bill was dropped. Now, the Trump-influenced bill also met a roadblock. Finally, a bill that makes its way talks about the key essentials for the U.S. government, the essential payments, and of course the ones that you mentioned, supporting the farmers and the parts of the country affected by disasters. Talking about Elon Musk, the opposition that we saw among the Republicans to the Donald Trump President-elect supported bill, the second bill in order, speaks about the manner in which it may not be a smooth ride for him next year when he takes office, the White House, although there's going to be a Republican majority in both the House of Representatives as well as the Senate. We see there is a certain divergence as far as the fiscal vision for the country is concerned. Donald Trump wanted the debt ceiling to be dropped, ideally till 2027. That issue, of course, was not taken up in the bill. That has just been clear. And Elon Musk, who was already being seen as someone who had disproportionate influence over Donald Trump in the campaign season. Later, Donald Trump appointed him as someone who would lead the Department of Efficiency, is now being referred to as the shadow president, as in fact President Musk, in a satirical way by many Democrats. But we'll have to wait and watch. Both gentlemen are in fact outspoken people on social media. Many say this bonhomie may be short-lived, but we'll have to wait and watch how they play or don't together next year.
Interesting, Shubhendu, and like you said, Trump wanted the debt ceiling suspended for a few years, but that was not to be. So what would that mean for Trump 2.0?
Well, we have to understand that, simply put, the debt ceiling means the amount of money, funds that the government of the United States must borrow to meet its day-to-day expenditures. Donald Trump ideally wanted the debt ceiling to be dropped, give more room for his very ambitious reforms to take place. Now, we saw that 38 members from his own party, the Republicans, in fact, played an important role in blocking this reform that was proposed in the bill that was influenced by Donald Trump. The Republicans, the conservatives believe that removal of the debt ceiling is not the solution. There are two ways in which you can access funds for the government. One is, of course, you keep increasing the debt ceiling, remove it, borrow as much funds as you need. The other is to cut spending. Something that Donald Trump is not interested in doing. He wants to move forward with his reform agenda for making America great again. That's the vision with which he wants to work. So kind of opposition that he is faced even before he takes office could be in fact replicated next year when he takes office, when Republicans are in majority, a slim majority mind you, in both Senate as well as House of Representatives. We'll have to wait and watch what kind of tussle does that lead to. Experts say perhaps the central way out, the midway out, would be increasing the debt limit in the manner in which it has been done in the past to meet the reform agenda. But remember, Donald Trump also comes with his ambitious tax cut agenda, which would then also require more funds for the government. The 2017 tax reform expires in 2025. So that does put the capital and the members in a tight spot.
Right, Shubhendu. Also, what happens next on the bill? The last we saw, the Senate was voting on it. Also, ahead of elections for the next Speaker of the U.S. House, have we seen an undercutting of Speaker Mike Johnson's authority?
That's right, Munmun. One person under fire, particularly his reputation, Mike Johnson, Speaker. It is a Speaker's responsibility for the smooth functioning of the House of Representatives, and his job really is to be able to build consensus in precisely these kind of tricky situations and passage of bills, which in fact puts the economy and the expenses of the country hostage. And the dramatic scenes that we witnessed, he clearly struggled to get the bill passed, the first version, the second, and then finally the third version did clear. He enjoys a slim majority. 3rd of January 2025, he must stand for election again. Many hardliner Republicans, his own party, say that they're unlikely to extend the kind of support that they did earlier to him. So it is going to be a difficult way forward for him when he stands for election. The turmoil that we saw in the Capitol, the blockage of the bills, he may have to pay the price for it eventually in a few weeks from now.
So no dull moment in a sense in the next 4 years too. Well, Shubhendu, thanks a ton for joining us from the newsroom.